Hello and welcome to episode 3 of My Soup is Too Damp.
My soup is too damp.
Fucking croutons. This is a comedy podcast where we discuss anecdotes and stories about working in hospitality sent in from listeners.
Two of them.
Things like a nightmare customer or a really embarrassing situation or just something really weird. So each episode one of us reads out a chosen anecdote which the others haven't heard before and we discuss it. With me we have Alix Perry.
Hello.
Garry Smith.
Hello.
And I'm Stephen Smith. We all worked in the hospitality industry for many years and we'll also share our experiences. It's this is sort of an antidote to TripAdvisor, which seems to have empowered the customers. But some motherfuckers, they go crazy.
Yeah, no, they do. I've seen it. I've seen it in films, in fact. People do it all the time. They're in hospitality. Well, no, they're not. They're in a restaurant. And they lose it. They lose it all the time.
Is that Pulp Fiction?
Pulp Fiction.
They're just trying to rob the place.
Oh.
They haven't got an issue with the
I
service.
thought it was a service. Okay, I need to rewatch that film.
Yeah.
That ball gag bit doesn't make any sense now. Right.
So, send us an anecdote. You can do it anonymously. And we might just go and include it.
Yeah, we could read it out
Back to you.
on a podcast. Never before seen or heard. Not time to drink. Go on.
So let's go.
Yeah.
Yay.
Here's episode 3 of My Soup is Too Damp.
My soup is bad.
My soup is too damp.
Okay, just buying some time so that I can
Oh, get on with it.
the font a bit bigger so I can read it better because my eyes are shit. Okay.
You should get your eyes tested.
All right. So this is from Roisin, who I used to work with in a restaurant.
Hello.
Hence.
Roshi.
Hi, Roshi.
She's a good egg. She's a very good egg, and she's got a good sense of humour and the such like.
Well, thank goodness for that.
She sent me like a story, or well, it's a
Limerick?
yeah, it's more of a limerick than it's more of a haiku than a story. No, it's a story, but it sort of touches on a bunch of subjects and goes through a few various different things. So just try and keep up.
Well, okay.
You mean bear with you?
Bear with me, keep up. Same thing. What's
I'll
the
let you know
difference?
if we don't understand.
Okay. But don't ask me any questions because I don't know. So, from Roisin, she has sent me this. She has said, at a pub that I worked at, I had a gross manager called Richie, who was like 27 with a beer belly and wore cardigans and with his chest hair poking out the top, which is unacceptable anyway, but worse because he was a prick.
Did he just... So he had a cardigan without a t-shirt on underneath or a shirt on underneath and just the cardigan?
No, I've moved past. They used to not give me food breaks on 12-hour shifts or give food to everyone but me. He allowed me one bite and then proceeded to eat them both in front of me at 10 a.m, 2 roast dinners. And then he had another one at 3 p.m. So
Hang
I
on,
think,
sorry, can I stop you just for a
yeah.
second?
So I'll clarify that. Basically, she's saying that on 12-hour shifts, most people allow food, but she didn't get any.
Sure.
He allowed her a bite of his, which turned out to be 2 roast dinners.
He had 2 roast dinners.
And this is at 10 a.m, so that's a breakfast roast, basically.
No wonder he just wore a cardigan. He probably couldn't fit any t-shirts on.
Exactly, I think that's why. So luckily that answered that. Anyway, that was just to set the scene for how gross this dude was. So a nice little bit of context there, a little bit of
Okay.
character
Pretty gross.
development for you. Every time I complained about men being gross, he would be like, "You're overreacting," which of many oh god, no, this is the problem now. I can't say that word. Instances. Yeah?
No, I don't think that's
No,
correct.
go on. Yeah, well, correct me. Help me out.
Incidents.
Brilliant. Okay. So,
Do you mean incidents?
yeah, that's the one. Could you just say that when I get to the word many? So
Okay,
which
so
of,
you look at me when you
okay,
need me to say
which
it.
of many
Incidents.
included this posh old man telling me to go get him some cigars, and when I said they didn't have any from behind the bar, he then ordered me to go buy some from Tesco's.
You go and buy something from Tesco.
When I was like, mate, I'm a waitress, not a maid, he called me an ugly bint.
Mate. No, full on, absolutely no way. You
Jesus
horrible old
Christ.
man.
So, like, another very small little bit, another time a group of dudes took a picture of me and said they'll wank over it later, which is literally illegal. I mean, so this is a thing that I think obviously a lot of, well, let's say 50% of the population have to deal with in, like, hospitality.
Did you say women?
Oh yeah, that's it. I forget what they're called. I don't look through that lens. But yeah, no. And I've witnessed it rarely. I've rarely had it done to me, only a few times.
Because you're female.
Well, yeah, I mean, depends on the day, but yeah, it must be a real horrible, intimidating
horrible.
thing. Yeah,
It's really horrible.
gross.
Yeah. It's
So she's got
disgusting.
another little example here. There was also a man called Ken, Steve. So there's Ken now. Ken's in the mix, right?
I don't know him.
Let's get to know him. Who was a Scottish alcoholic. There you go. So now you know.
Broad strokes.
Well,
Broad racist strokes.
Well, he's an alcoholic. I'm not suggesting nothing. It's Rashid. So this Ken guy who spent his entire 2-week holiday drunk at the bar, telling me my life was a failure because I'd never read Charles Dickens / hitting on me really grossly over and over again. With Gross Richie doing nothing but drink gravy and wank or whatever he did in the office all day. So this, I think the main issue is she's obviously having to deal with sexist, horrible, gross old men.
Yeah.
And the person that she would go to is this horrible cardigan wearing, gravy drinking, wanking, double roast eater.
Yeah, who probably wouldn't really be that bothered.
Don't
So there's
give a fuck.
there's no staff support there, is
Yeah,
there?
exactly. It's harsh, man. It's not cool.
Stereosexism.
Yeah. So yeah, one day Ken came in for his morning pint before going to the races and asked me what my lucky number was. And when he came back at the end of the day, smashed and crying, he told me he bet all of his money on my lucky number and lost it all.
Good.
So yeah, nice little bit of recompense.
How unfortunate
there.
for you, Ken.
Yeah, fuck
It was
you.
her lucky number.
Yeah.
That's why it was lucky, because it
Exactly.
It worked
That's
perfectly.
the whole Star Wars, he'll fulfill the prophecy by... Anyway.
Not doing it the way you expect.
Exactly, it's on the dark side. Well, you all know that.
just
Let's
worked
not
out
go
that
into it. So I think that just opens up a whole thing on. I'm sure. I mean, I know of plenty stories of people getting just horrifically treated by, and it's this weird thing. It's like, you're my server. I'm sort of paying you to wait on me. Therefore, I can.
Yeah, it's having
Be sexist, yeah.
some sort of authority
Yeah.
over people that are working behind a bar or in a restaurant. I think girls having their bums touched. That's a classic.
Unbelievable
That
stuff.
happened to me once, and I turned around and I really
High-fived him.
Well, I didn't. No. I was really
Farted on him.
Yeah, I did. I pulled my pants down, took a shit on his table, and told him to eat that.
You like my butt so much.
That's not what I
That's what I do with it.
No, I didn't. Last week's episode was about poo. Let's not run with that.
But like, I've had it before. So like, woman even, girl at heart, called Sally, who I used to work with. She overheard my interaction with this guy, and he was just nicely asking, essentially, it's my wife's birthday. Could she have a nice lady glass for a pint? And I was like, just held up a normal Kronenberg glass. I was like, this is fine, right? Because, I don't know what glass I can identify as male or female.
No.
We
Making a
have
point.
that.
It's the blue ones and pink ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Having like glasses that some I would say mainly men presume is gender specific. So a wine glass, or having, you know, you have a gin serve now. It's quite fashionable to have your gin in the big old glass bowls, like fish bowl things. I've definitely had men say, "Oh, I don't want one of them girly glasses. I want one of them," and it's
Put it in a barrel.
Yeah. I want it in a Wellington boot that's full of mud with a football on top.
Yeah, no, you've appealed to the man in me there.
I want it in a yard-long penis glass.
yeah.
Most masculine thing I can
Could get
possibly
more
have.
masculine. Yeah, so I could only imagine this shit, and I hate it. It drives me mental. I've said to people plenty of times, if there is somebody that you are not comfortable with serving or dealing with, let me know, and I'll make them feel like a twat for the whole time.
I quite like it. I think I've had to save members of staff from being lured at by the opposite sex, male and female, I think.
Yeah.
And I have quite enjoyed going up to them and being like, I'm sorry, if you continue to make my staff feel uncomfortable, then I'm going to smash your head into the bar.
Yeah, you're gross and weird. And how many times has that ever worked? Like, what stories have people got? It's like, how did you and your wife meet? Oh, well, when she was 17 and I was 45, I touched the bum in a restaurant and our eyes met, and then it was love from then on.
Yeah. I belittled her.
Yeah. Into romantic feelings. It's vile. But there's nothing that makes me more angry in hospitality. I think that's the worst. You got this whole thing of treat you like a slave, and this sort of says there's the money, and that's the sort of role that you are playing. You're essentially a replacement of the servant that you can't legally have. But then obviously when it's a female and usually younger as well, there seems to be a angle of there's a sexual element to it as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'd always do a thing like we have locals everywhere you work, and they always have this rapport. You can hear my air quotes there, rapport with the younger staff, and they always come in like, "Oh, hello, darling," and before they respond, every single time I'm in like, "Oh, you're right, sweetheart," and they fucking hate it. They don't like that at all. It's like, no, I won't. I don't know. It makes me feel like,
Yeah, no, you have to give it to them back. 100%.
It's gross. It's gross. It's horrible.
Yeah, no, it is gross.
Makes me mad. I'm not gonna take it anymore.
No.
But Roisin, she, I don't know, because she sent me this, we started chatting, we haven't chatted in ages, we started reminiscing about little bits and pieces. She reminded me about Christmas time when she was wearing a shitty halo, you know, with pipe cleaners and stuff, and I don't know if she had wings on or not, whatever.
Let's say she did.
Let's say, why not? Let's paint a picture with this white robe as she was
like
floating.
a nativity angel. Yeah.
And we had these wine glass racks on top of the bar, and she just knocked fucked on of them over with her halo, just looped it like it was some sort of fairground game, and just fucked over a load of glasses. And it's one of those moments where you can't be angry. It's funny.
Did she win the stuffed monkey?
Yeah. No, she won. She took home, I think it was a nice big bag of broken glass as a prize, which is sweet, isn't it?
She probably could have used the broken glass to make a mosaic or something.
Exactly.
Like on Boxing Day.
It also reminded me as well, she had a fantastic moment, big long table. We used to have these big fuck off like buckets of mussels full of loads of mussels and some sort of like white wine sauce or whatever.
Mussels are masculine.
Very masculine, especially if it comes in a bucket.
Big biceps of mussels.
Bicep of muscles,
That's
please.
a gross image. She went up, last guy on the table, right at the end, the organiser as well, and just dashed it all over his crotch by accident. And he was fucking cool about the whole thing. He didn't give a shit. And like Roisin, she just went and hid in the kitchen and felt like 2 foot tiny and just horrible.
It is horrible when you pour things on people.
We've all done it.
We've all done it. I've 100% done it.
Yeah, I smashed an old woman in the back of the head with a glass of orange juice. At a very, very corporate event.
She was talking back though, wasn't she?
Well, you know, she was like, "Oh, can I have orange juice?" I was like, "Here's your fucking orange juice, bitch, bang!" And, well, she's dead now. Yeah.
Did you kill her?
She was on her way out. It was in a hospital. I shouldn't have been there. Done that. My mate Millie at this night where it was like serving 200 steaks to all of these people and just spilling blood over the back of like a woman's really nice fur coat.
Don't eat dead animals, guys.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what you get. Yeah. But yeah, out of everything to accidentally tip over, orange juice is one thing, but blood, just blood, straight up blood.
Straight up blood.
Yeah, rough.
Can't get that shit out.
No. But yeah, I know that loads of people have dashed loads of drinks and shit all over everybody all the time.
When I was 14, one of my least favourite experiences, I was working in my mum's pub, actually, and I had gone up to a table, and you know when you go up and no one really pays attention to what you're saying?
Yeah.
So I had a boiling hot sticky toffee pudding or treacle sponge or something with custard, and it was in my hand and it was burning my hand, and I was begging someone to say, yes, that's mine, put it in front of me, and no one was paying attention, and it was so hot that I tried to move my fingers around on the bottom of the bowl so that one would only burn a little bit less rather than all of them burn real bad, and I poured the pudding all over this lady's lap.
Nice.
And it was a few seconds later she realised, obviously, that heat then went through her trousers and then went onto her lap, and she stood up screaming. I then burst into tears, apologised profusely, walked into the kitchen, walked behind the bar and saw my mum, and I went, Mum, I was buying some drinks, my sponge on the lap, I'm sorry, and ran upstairs. And then my mum then ran out of the bar with a bucket and a sponge, but just ran to the wrong table. So there's one lady standing there being like, oh, it's hot, oh my God. And my mum just runs to the table next to her. And she's like, hi, sorry, did you need a sponge and a bucket?
Dash the whole bucket of water over someone.
I got you guys.
But that was like a whole thing. So, but now I've got a thing. I will not pick up a plate without a tea towel. I like just straight up. I just won't do it. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Is that going to burn me? Not doing it. I'm not doing it. Minimum wage is not enough to get burnt.
Yeah, no, won't get burnt for that amount of money.
We'll not get burnt for minimum wage. No, thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to do a section where we read complaints made by customers, which have either been sent in or found on TripAdvisor. This is a section we like to call Trip Offender.
Get it?
Okay, so Alex, what you got?
Okay, so this is something that I found on TripAdvisor, and I found it funny because I find that the funniest TripAdvisors are the ones that aren't spelt right. So I'm going to read this out.
It's all just jargon.
And I'm also, based on her picture that this girl had up on TripAdvisor, I'm going to do it with an Essex accent.
Okay.
Which it might be offensive, but I'm just presuming that this is the case.
Yeah, that's fine.
so-
That's the offence. That's why it's offensive.
This is
assumption, yeah.
offensive. I'm being a dick. I don't
Can't help
care.
it.
It's Trip Offender, right?
Okay.
You know that, yeah?
Right, you ready? I'm absolutely disgusted in this place. The food came to our table. We was waiting 20 minutes for some table sauce. My coleslaw smelt of it made me jip. The mixed reel came and the steak was the size of a chicken leg. When we asked the waitress for vinegar, she walked away and said, fuck's sake. High overrated place. It's disgusting and I'm disgusted. Please keep away, people.
Okay, right, I got one question. Table sauce?
Yeah.
Was table sauce mentioned?
No one.
Vague.
She doesn't say what table sauce
No,
is.
whatever it is, though, I'm in.
But it's making her disgusted.
Oh, well, fair
For
enough.
that reason.
Maybe there's custard on the table. This table sauce is disgusting.
Also, steak the size of a chicken leg. Like I'd say that was quite a normal size. Like if you think about it,
Yeah.
like if you're having a fillet steak, it's probably the same size as a chicken leg, no?
Chickens are notoriously fairly small. Yeah.
Unless it was enormous and it was some sort of
Dinosaur.
chicken. And I don't know. That review just really made me laugh. But anyway, that's mine. There we go.
Nice. Okay, I got one.
I'm clapping myself.
Always embarrassing, especially after sex, I find. Okay, so I've got one here, just titled Awful Food. Straight to the point.
Straight up.
I'm also going to try a voice. Not my strong point. I came here 2 weeks ago on the off chance as I walked my dog around the Beach Road area, and I thought it looked inviting. I had to wait 30 minutes for a table, which seemed strange as it was virtually empty, yet all booked out. And that's something I just want to quickly highlight, that thing that people do. They come in, the place is empty because no one's arrived yet, and they go, can I have a table? I'm afraid they're all booked out. Well, no one's here.
Yeah.
Right? Well, they're coming in like 10
That's
minutes,
classic.
mate. Like, for fuck's sake.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're fully booked. Yeah, fucking looks like it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
no,
Look
we're
at
not.
the fucking sheet. The order
We're not
sheet
open
thing.
yet. That's why there's
Son
no
of a
one here.
bitch. I know, right? I just it drives me up the wall.
Anyway.
This guy carries on. I love a good beer. And that's it. No. But I thought that their selection was a bit sad. The food took ages to come out when it arrived. It was bland, cold, and seemed like it had come from a microwave. Very soggy on the outside, but the food was way too hot to eat. My meat was chewy and seemed poor quality. So, a couple of things I want to highlight there. The whole thing where people say it's microwaved. No, I hate
Yeah, no, it's
that.
funny,
It's
especially when
microwaved?
you don't.
No, it's not.
No,
Yes,
it isn't.
is.
We don't have a microwave.
Ah, it just drives me up the wall. And my meat was chewy and seemed poor quality. Seemed.
Well, you do chew. I'm being pedantic.
No, you are. But that's a massive thing. People with steaks, man. Fucking
I had to
nightmare.
bite it with my teeth.
I had to chew.
Couldn't just slide it down my throat.
Yeah. I couldn't eat it like a duck. It was annoying. Staff had no smiles on their faces, and my impression of it seemed inviting. I was definitely proven wrong. Won't be returning. So yeah, no smiles on the faces as well. So
The staff were probably really upset because the steak is too chewy.
yeah, exactly. They're really upset by the fact they're all booked out by invisible
Customers. I'm sorry, we're fully booked by ghosts today, and that's why we're
Do
looking quite
apologise.
upset. Yeah. Right, Stephen, have you got one?
Years. Here we go. I wish we hadn't gone. The meal was ruined by midgets everywhere.
Oh, whoa,
And we were
whoa. Now, children or midgets? Because sometimes people get confused. I know I do.
Midgets.
Okay, carry on.
The meal was ruined by midgets everywhere, and we were sitting inside.
I get it.
We even moved tables nearer the back wall, but we were either followed by them or they were at that table too. We woke up the following morning covered in bites and very itchy.
Fucking midgets, man.
Mate,
They
so
bite.
they mean midges, don't they? So
No, I don't think they do.
mosquitoes, 100%.
It's ambiguous.
Let's
It's
just-
ambiguous.
Yeah.
Because I think they both fit the profile, right? No,
You
definitely.
can't say midgets anyway.
But I
You
like.
can't say midges. That's fair.
This
What?
is one of those. This is one of those stories where it becomes the establishment's fault of something that they cannot control. So
Midgets
strong
are notoriously
midget.
tough
No.
to control.
right, if you've got mosquitoes in your establishment, it's your fault, and
Yeah.
you can put up, those zappy things or whatever, but it's not 100% the
Foolproof,
staff's
no.
fault
Yeah.
if you get bitten by a mosquito.
Yeah.
That's just not their
Yeah, if a
fault.
tiger wanders in, it's not you don't
The
complain
staff
to
can
the
do
chef.
what they
It's
can.
a
Yeah,
weird straw
excuse
man
me.
argument, I will admit.
I'm actually allergic to tigers,
Yeah.
and I've got this. I've come up in this huge rash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got this massive bite.
Yeah, my guts are spilling out. I think I'm allergic.
Can we please move to a less tigery table? More towards the back.
Less tigery, please.
But no, that is one of the most annoying things.
Yeah.
I'm
Tigers.
sorry. Yeah, tigers and nature in general.
Nature.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but nature's here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I'm too hot. Could you open the doors? Well, one or the other.
Yeah.
My food's mouldy. It's fucking nature, mate.
It's Stilton. Fucking eat it.
All right.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, thanks for Roisin. Thanks for everyone else sending stuff in. And thanks for listening as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you, TripAdvisor.
Thanks, TripAdvisor. Thanks to you, we can.
Fucking bunch
Take
of
it back.
idiots.
Okay. Keep sending us stuff in. Keep sending anecdotes. Check out Wobbly Lobster. There'll be a new soup episode coming out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There's also Hypotheticast, our other comedy podcast. That'll be coming out. There'll be a new one of them shortly. But yeah, check out all stuff. Like, share, all the things.
Subscribe.
Our email is info@wobblylobster.co.uk.
Thank you very much.
Please
Thank
send
you.
us some bits for that.
But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to stop now.
Thank you. Goodbye.
I had a lovely time. Bye.
Bye, 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 bye.
Bye.